Hi guys, welcome back to What About Babe? And it's our first official episode 1. Thank you if you had caught my introduction video. If you haven't, I'll try to put a link on the bottom in the description. I'm trying to learn, so be patient with me. But if not, check out my channel page and look for the introduction video so that you will know more about me. But again, my name is Lena and I welcome you to my channel. We are going to be going through different topics in today's episode. I'm so excited. I find it funny that my husband's not listening into this conversation because he's so used to this topic. And by used to, I'm like, I'm watching the show almost 24/7 if I'm not working. Yes, I have notes this time. I'm not looking at the tape notes in the background, but I wanted to make sure that I remembered every topic that I wanted to touch. We will see how long this video goes, or if there might be 2 parts, because if you're a fan like I am, you might have some discussion starting in the comment section, and that might end up in a part 2 video. Today's topic is Gilmore Girls obsession. Are you a Gilmore Girls fan, like hardcore fan? If you follow them on Facebook, there is a fan page, and I'm so jealous because there's like those almost like Comic Cons or Vid Cons. But they have one that I think they just recently had like a 90s one, which was pretty cool. But this one had some Gilmore Girls Gilmore Girls cast members there. And I was so jealous. I wish it was in a state that was near me that I could have attended, because that would have been amazing. But yes, I love Gilmore Girls. I know I watched it a lot growing up, but not too much, I guess. I guess you would say a little, not a lot. I grew up in a house full of guys except for my mom, and so I didn't really get free range of the TV that much. But once I got married, my husband's like, oh, I got Netflix. Just watch whatever you want. And I took it upon myself to watch it through, and we're going to be celebrating our 3rd year wedding anniversary in October, and I've went through the whole series multiple times. He's wanting to multiply it more than I think I have, but it's an obsession. So how many times I watched the series? I'm going to say at least 7 times. It might be more. If that's too much or too little, sorry, that's me. But let me know in the comment section how many times you've watched it, if you have. And if you haven't, I do recommend it. But I do highly recommend you watching the original series first. Don't watch the Netflix series first. You don't want to spoil different storylines that you would have missed in the original series. So start from episode 1. What character I relate to the most? This is going to bridge out onto other topics. Like I've said, I will ramble on. Everyone that's watched it with me or on their own, plus myself, I always consider myself Suki. It's my personality. I also love to cook. Am I as great as her? Probably not. I would probably be better if I had like a kitchen full of endless food that always looks amazing and big house to cook for. But I also bake. So if you haven't watched the Netflix series, I'm just going to say a part where she's baking, like it makes me laugh hysterical, because that's me trying to bake in my 1-bedroom apartment. Little bit of space, a lot of work, less counter space. So if you have that problem, you have my sympathy. But I love Suki, and I loved Melissa McCarthy in almost every movie she's ever done. I say almost because I haven't watched all of her movies. So don't take that as, oh, I don't like her in some. I haven't watched all of them. So if there's some that you recommend, because she is hilarious, she's my girl. My sister from another mister, which would be awesome to meet her one day. Oh my God, I would probably think, because I would be smiling too much. Like, you know, the smile where your cheeks hurt. Kind of like the Barbie in Toy Story 3. Can I stop smiling? My face hurts. Yeah, that would be me. I only met like one famous person in my whole life, so I acted dumb that night too. But if you recommend any, I appreciate that. And I would totally look into watching them. But yeah, I was a big fan, still a big fan of this series, Mike and Molly. So that was where I think I first started like really watching her, and then I would watch movies. So Suki is my friend. She is how I interact with my friends. Like, I am that person that's like, hey, let's go for it. What can I do for you? I'm like, I want to be your hype person. And that kind of goes along with being a wedding photographer and videographer. Like, your job is to make sure that bride and groom have the best time. And if that is like gluing on nails, which I've done, putting on their garter, helping with anything you can think of. I mean, I even helped take apart a person's like tears to their wedding cakes. That is a very anxiety-filled story. So if I can get past that fear, I'm telling it because it brings anxiety even thinking about it again. I might share that story, but whew. So yeah, that is the reason why I think Suki. If there's a character that you think you relate to the most, or even like lookalikes, that would be awesome to share. I would find that fun. I'm gonna leave that topic for last. But funny moments. Oh my goodness, there's so many funny moments. I think just seeing how Luke and Taylor just butt heads all the time, I just find it so funny. I have to say, Luke is one of my favorites. I tell my husband all the time, like, when Halloween comes up, hey, should we be Luke and Lorelai? I mean, simple, easy. You got the outfits in the closet. Like, let's dress up. And he's given it a couple of times, so I'm pretty excited. But yeah, funny moments like, you remember the episode where that was when Rory had went off to college and she came home one day and what's his name? Oh my goodness, the guy that has like all the jobs. Oh my gosh, you're going to leave it in the comment section because you're going to laugh at me because I'm getting nervous because I'm on the camera. But the guy that has all the jobs and he's kind of like a little off. But he wanted to give security to her. So he had went in to Lorelai's house and put a security system and the alarm would go off in different parts of the house. And the next morning, they thought they turned it off and Rory comes in and is like, what is with the Post-it notes? Because she's lining the Post-it notes all over the floor going, oh, go here. Now you got to dip down here. And it's just to get out of the house without the alarm going off. Pretty funny. I think that was the episode where Dean was getting married, if I stand correct. I do believe that was the episode, but there are so many funny episodes. I know I'm going to be watching it later and I'm just going to be laughing so much. But just the way, one of my favorite ones, Emily Gilmore, when Gran comes and stays with them. Do you remember the episode where Gran had told her, oh, you need to leave the house. I'm preparing the house for my friends to come and talk about paintings. and don't come back until like 6 o'clock or something. I might be wrong on the time, so don't get triggered. But she comes and sneaks in, and she sees Grand making out with a guy, and she leaves. And for once, she has dirt on Gran, and she can't hold it in. And she was trying to be the good wife, daughter-in-law, mom in that moment. Later in the evening, when everyone's there, her husband's there, and Gran is just biting at her and nibbling at her, trying to get her to get mad. And embarrass her in front of her friends. And that's when she's like, oh, I saw her making out with a man in a tracksuit. And everyone like gets so shocked. Gran's all embarrassed, but it was a very funny but awkward situation. So if there's some funny moments from the show, I know there's countless ones. Make sure to put that in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Let's comment on each other's. Let this be a series. Wouldn't that be fun? Of like Tuesday's Gilmore Girls Day. That would be fun. Again, you can tell I'm rambling. I'm used to having a person beside me, so you're in front of me, if you will. Worst moments. I know the worst moments for me was when, and this is I should probably go ahead and say that. If you haven't watched the whole series and you don't want me to ruin it for you, please stop now. Stop watching this one and go and watch it first. And then come back for this episode, because I don't want to ruin it for you. It is suspenseful. It's funny. I'm sorry my chair is squeaking. Try not to lean back. But I don't want to ruin it for you because it's a good show. But now saying that, I want to say the worst moment for me was when Lorelai and Luke broke up. That episode, I think it was like a 2-part episode. When she asked him to marry her, well, they already had been engaged. She had already asked him. But he was drawing it out for the situation with his daughter, and he was not putting her first. And even if not putting her first, letting her be a part of the equation. And I want to guess that most viewers would agree with me on that. Like, they are that number one couple. They're the ones that are supposed to make it. And she asked, hey, let's go. Let's go get married. It doesn't have to be a big thing. She loves him. She wants to marry him. And he said, you can't jump like that. And I know I've commented on the Gilmore Girls fan page when they say something, and there's that connection of it's now or never. And you will hear that line in the Netflix series, which as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, that was said. But that was the hardest episode. And knowing that she ran to Christopher was very heartbreaking. And so that was one of my saddest moments. There's a lot of them, but that was one of my saddest moments. Okay. Should I go ahead and get on this topic? I think I should. Because it's going to go to the other last 2 questions. The big question, the whole enchilada question that you are probably wanting to ask me right now as you're watching this. Who would I choose? Dean, Jess, or Logan? There are pros and cons for all 3. Pros and cons. But I think out of the whole series, from beginning to end, I am a Jesse's girl. And yes, you can sing the song. Jesse's girl. I am Jesse's girl. Like, the whole time I'm watching it from beginning to end, even the Netflix series, like, my eyes are for Jess. Kind of like the quiet, makes you think bad boy style, but really like your best friend, that one that you have that connection for. Dean was a very nice guy, but I don't think they clicked as much as they should have. He was that first boyfriend. Like, we've all had that first boyfriend. It might have worked out, and that's awesome. Might have not, and that's okay. But he was that first crush, first love for her. Was not meant to go later on. And you're going to see that in the Netflix series. That I love how that turned out for him. That was a good connection they made on the aisle of their first kiss, which is pretty funny. Logan. Now, was there episodes that his smile and dimples made you weak in the knees? Absolutely. But I think I liked him further on. Now, when she first met him, oh my goodness, he's a pain in the behind. Goody two shoes, too much money, didn't care. But later on, he turned out to be a pretty nice guy. I liked him around the time that he proposed. Did I think that was a good plot for him to say, no, it's pretty much now or never kind of thing, quoting there again. But not really giving them the choice of doing long distance was kind of sucky. But I think not really a different class range, but really they had two ways of what they were going to settle for and what they were not going to settle for, if you will. Knowing that he was engaged in the Netflix series and was still allowing her to be a part of his life in that way. That, I'm sorry, in any situation or relationship, when that is like, and I don't want to offend anybody else, everyone has different views. Remember that this is a safe place. If you want to share your views, it is okay for us not to agree. That is awesome. That is the whole point of having conversations and discussions. You do not need to agree with me. If you agree with me, that's awesome. If we disagree, that's awesome too, because we get to have a discussion and we get to, have conversations and laugh and bridge onto more topics. But I felt like she finally realized, hey, I'm not the one for you. And when they said goodbye in that little bed and breakfast, sorry, that was very sad, but they had a goodbye. But going back to Jess, he was that one that was like, I'm that person for you. I want to encourage you. And he was scared in the first place because he didn't see value in himself. And when he finally did, no matter if he did or didn't, he always saw value in her. He saw what she could be, and he never changed his view on that. So that's why, there's other reasons, the looks, but, having the hots for Luke and Jess, family genes. The Year in the Life Netflix series, mini series. Yes, I'm going to say mini because I have that in parentheses. It should not have been a mini series. Hopefully you haven't got this far if you haven't watched the first series. But if you have, I know you probably got mad of watching this. I don't know if you watched it when it first came on. I heard that, I want to say I heard that they showed episodes slowly, like the 4 episodes that they had, almost like a movie. Or did they put it on Netflix one after the other? I know when I finally saw it, it was one after the other, so I binge watched it in days. I was so frustrated by the end because I'm like, that's it? No more? Like, this could have been so many series again, like 7 more seasons. Not series, seasons. I meant seasons. 7 more seasons. So I know some of the people in the series were getting older, and I think that might have been part of the reason, or maybe it was just the writers. But I wish they would have kept it going and had it. But I liked it, but some parts were kind of annoying. I don't know if you would agree, but the musical that they did, why? Like, why? That had Taylor's name all over it. So annoying. But I really love the song. And if you're like me, life gets overwhelming. And so you will know in different videos, I'll share stories about personal life and stuff like that. But that song that she hears, and it seems like the lead lady in the musical and the singer of the song is like singing toward her in that scene, and she's like, it's never a now. And it's very, touching. I love that. Different parts of that series I loved, but I hated that Suki and Jackson weren't really in it very much. They didn't have everybody in it much, which was kind of sad. But I mean, I thought it was funny when Luke's sister Luke's sister Liz and her husband TJ were drawn into a vegetable cult, and they were stuck in there for don't quote me, but 2 billion years or something like that. It was something very odd, which makes sense with them, but they end up finding out that the cult actually kicked them out. Funny enough, but I love that the connections were there. I love that they finally got married. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I didn't bombshell you on that one. But I loved it. I just wish there was more of it. So it gets to the, I guess, last question, if you will. What outcome did I want the Gilmore Girls to be or to have? This is a question that has been asked in many groups. And I've said it so many times. So many fans have agreed with me. The show needed to continue. And again, another warning. If you have not watched it, please stop watching and go and watch the series. Go and watch the mini-series on Netflix before you get to this question. Okay, so how did I want the outcome to be? The final episode of the mini-series, the year in the life of the Gilmore Girls, on Netflix. The last, second of the episode, Rory announces that she's pregnant. And if you're like me, you knew the exact moment when she probably got pregnant. Now, we can choose, oh, I wanted it to be this person. They didn't show this. No, we know. I believe it was Logan's baby. And that was from their last night of saying goodbye. It could have been before then. I don't know how the time lapse could have been, but I think it was that night, if that would make the better story, I guess. But it was Logan's baby, but he was getting married. he would probably offer assistance, but Rory, is like Lorelai, and she could do it on her own. She doesn't want help. She got this book that she's writing, Gilmore Girls. But in the last episode, which was the day before she announces to her mom that she's pregnant, she hugs Jess and tells him about the book. And you see the scene of her going in, and she's walking past the window, and he makes that look on her, and you could just tell he still loves her. And it would have made the best outcome to start it up again and have Luke and Lorelai be grandparents. See them interact with their first grandchild. See them interact with babies. See Rory go through all the stuff we didn't get to see her mom go through. Except for like flashbacks when she was about to give birth as a teenager. But then also seeing Jess have that connection with her, have them buy a home, have them go through Lamaze, all that stuff that would have been nice, and a connection with all of us that grew up watching them and are having families, having kids, grandkids, stuff like that. So I think that's how the show should have went on. You might think differently, so share with me. Let's get the comment section going with Gilmore Girls. And I wish I could play the song, after I got married and I was really watching the show. I was like, oh, that would have been like just that little song that they always play of the lady just kind of singing. That would have been like the perfect song to walk down the aisle. So if you are an upcoming bride and you need an idea and you love Gilmore Girls, hey, I will give you that suggestion. But yeah, so a fun topic. I probably rambled, probably talked with my hands. My chair probably squeaked. Getting used to it. Every video is going to be better, I hope. But I'm glad that you sat here and watched through. I hope you like this episode. Like the channel, subscribe. You can subscribe where it will notify you when a new episode happens. And like I said, I think I said in the introduction video the other day, I'm hoping to always schedule post in videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. So make sure to check back, and I'm glad you can join me. Message in the comment section. Let me know where you're from and what you thought of today's video, and if there's anything you want to add. Also, if there's other topics that you would like us to talk about in the future, feel free to put them in the comment section and I will add it. I will try to reply to comments as soon as I can. But yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.